OG's turn to pick.
Timber saw!
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Tagna.
OG's turn to ban.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
OG's turn to ban.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team back. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
OG's turn to ban. Seconds remaining.
5 seconds remaining.
Turn to pick.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Mirana. Seconds remaining. 10 seconds remaining.
Turn to pick.
5 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Mirana. Radiant team pick. Radiant team pick.
Monkey King.
Ow! Ow!
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
OG's turn to pick.
Double Comands.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
Admiral Conquer.
Ten seconds remaining.
OG's turn to ban.
Radiant
seconds
team
remaining.
ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
OG's turn to ban.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
OG's turn to pick.
Dragon Knight.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Phantom.
You may now select your heroes.
Паник, 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 паник.
I'll be signing autographs out front.
I see for you a future full of death.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
30 seconds to battle.
再见了，宝贝儿。
All right.
We outnumbered you. We outnumber them all.
Okay, that was unexpected.
Step lively now.
The
Your
battle
admiral is on board.
begins.
Паник, паник, паник. Паник, паник, паник. Паник, паник, паник. Паник, паник, паник. Паник, паник, паник.
No money for you.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Step lively now.
I take what I please.
Lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Dire's courier has been killed.
No, you don't.
Dire's courier has been killed.
I'll take that.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's courier has been killed.
Just getting started. I'll make you pay for this.
Паник, паник, паник.
Wait up.
So vile.
Sorry.
All of it. I can't let you have it.
Go. Don't run off.
Siren. Fails.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's courier has been killed. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
This isn't the end.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Bounty! Dire's top tower has fallen.
Appreciate it.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning. Radiant's courier has been killed.
There you go.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Panic, panic, panic.
Haste!
Panic, panic, panic.
Blood in the...
I guess you're mortal then.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Back to 4!
Dire are scanning. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Your shrine has fallen to the radiant.
Guess you're mortal then.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Your shrine has fallen to the radiant.
I'll take that.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom
Don't run off.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Back so soon?
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is falling.
Your admiral is on board.
Radiant's courier has been killed. is under attack.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Come get healed.
Double tap.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Invisibility.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Your admiral is on board.
Come get healed.
Double tap.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire are scanning. Radiant are scanning.
Fortunes change.
Need a coin?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Are scanning. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Ah, now this is a fleet.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Not so safe harbor, eh? Now this is a fleet.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Step lively now.
Prize is mine.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Not so safe harbor, eh?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant are scattered.
Ah, clear sailing now. Back so soon.
Invisibility.
What's the opposite of racism?
That one's all right.
Clear sailing now. Back so soon.
Dire are scanning.
Shadows take us. Got you twice. Gotcha.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Lucky shot. You did your best.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Got you twice.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yes, X marks the spot.
You did your best.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
As X marks the spot.
You did your best.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Fortune's change.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Nature attend us.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is falling. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Nature attend us.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is falling. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Shadows, take us. Where are you going?
Lively now. Your
are scanning. Radiant are scanning.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board. Two masts on this brigantine.
Come on, sprites!
It heals like the Sun CS.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Masts on this brigantine. Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Come get healed!
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
The prize is mine!
Dire's top tower.
Not so safe harbor, eh?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Illusion.
Prize is mine!
Step lively now. On board.
Fortune's changed.
Not so safe harbor, eh?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's top barracks has fallen. Top tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
Haste!
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Come on, sprites!
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Dire team ban.
OG's turn to ban.
Dire team ban.
OG's turn to pick.
Dire team pick.
Tagna.
Dire team ban.
Have taken. There's one thing that was a tradition until they faced Secret. Every time, first game of the series, every series, apart from when they faced Secret, they won game one.
Wow.
They lost the series, but they won game one. Team Secret, they also lost the series, but they won game two, so they were able to make it competitive. But every time they were able to make a competitive series out of it. And of course, the reason why you're hearing a lot about them wanting to face each other is because BZM and Amar, they came from a team called Creepwave previous season, and Crystallis was in that team as well. So Crystallis is very, very hyped about facing facing OG here today.
It is weird when a team, like especially consistently winning the first game
Yeah,
of a
it was
three-game
consistent.
series, and to then lose the next two, you think, what happened, guys? Like, did you just go, hey, we got this and relax, and then lose the next one and go, oh,
I think it's more, usually it's the opponent. Like,
figure him out. Just ban
Oh,
it.
that's how they play.
I mean, like when a team is not as experienced, I mean, we call OG experience. I mean, this is like a relatively new
Right,
squad.
Yeah.
That's actually the thing that's impressed me the most about OG is that a lot of unknown names for the outside people, but they've been really strong the last two seasons. I was looking at, doing my extensive research of these players and their drafts. I was looking, you know,
Is that literally you now looking at your phone?
that's me. This is my extensive research. You look at like the most common heroes that each respective player plays, and it's like, you know, 3, 4, 5 heroes. You look at Yuragi, it's like the entire hero pool. It's insane how much flexibility they have. I think that's one of the biggest reasons that they're finding success is because of their flexibility and how much like heroes are. They don't have hero puddles.
That's good.
Usually it's the opponent.
Very, very true.
And Amar, the mother effer, has the best name as well. Just have to shout him out.
Amar the Flower?
Yeah, there we go. My boy.
Lovely.
So we see Tiny, Pugna, and Sand King Bane. So Bane very good at laning. Can set up. I mean, we've seen the arrow set up in the past. I don't know if they're thinking that far ahead right now, but these players in their drafts. Sand King has been this hero that's kind of just been a pretty big staple in the off lane.
He's just in a great place.
Well.
He's in such a great place right now. I feel like strength heroes seem to be the vibe.
Hell yeah.
And this guy is just, he farms really fast. He can farm enormous stacks. He's a pain in the ass to lane against. And he's just great. I love him. He's a terrific hero.
Yeah, speaking of strength heroes being popular, Amar is playing a lot of Timbersaw, which is of course a hero that's great against mostly strength heroes. And oftentimes we have seen OG prioritizing that in the first phase. This time ignored by both teams so far in the picks and the bans. I would say,
they ban it.
so yeah, I would say so far nothing too out of the ordinary with the Sand King Bane coming out for Entity and the Pugna Tiny for OG.
Look at this, the double wallpaper vibe, by the way. 2 different kinds of wallpaper in the same room. That's a bold choice.
Yeah.
And the fact that it breaks halfway, like you'd expect one wall to be one paper and the other wall to be a different paper. It might be a poster, but it looks like wallpaper.
No, it looks like one of those, you know those photo walls? That you have like, you can have like
you go into the chemist to get a passport photo taken or something like that. That's what he's got. Stand in front of this, or like a school photo. Yeah, maybe it's just so he can convince people he lives on an island. See, that's just a regular old wall background there.
Wait, is it a background?
That's blurred.
That's blurred
He's got
background.
the AI.
He's
He's
almost
sweating
got a
so
blur.
hard, droplets of sweat are landing on the lens and blurring it out.
Yeah.
It's really prepping for this upcoming match. Back to the Timbersaw though, I think Bane is a pretty good answer, but the
There's
Bane
that call. There's that
that'll make
lemon
it
call.
It's funny how we see like these heroes that some teams like first 2 pick, they probably even they ban right away. Other times you get them last pick or in the second phase like we see with Caudle. But I feel like this is a very safe hero that just always finds farm, like no matter what.
Oh, it's insane, yeah.
And very strong right now. I put Tiny in the same category because I mean it's not played as support as often these days, but with the shard changes, that's 15 minutes and you're just online as opposed to before where it wouldn't really line up with your itemization as cleanly.
Tiny you're talking about?
Yeah. Any shard is
crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, a lot of the heroes that we see that are really powerful, you'll see that the shards are a big reason why. It's not that the shards necessarily would change, but like just getting it 5 minutes early. Like Viper's a great example. You wouldn't really see Viper shard as often until late game in the last patch, but with this one,
now it's like you get it so much quicker, it's actually value, right?
Yeah.
10 seconds.
But Tiny Shard is, it's like, oh, you want a Battle Fury at 15 minutes in addition to whatever else you do? Yeah, sure, here, have it. That's, I can't
Battle
stand
Fury that beats the shit out of buildings.
Yeah,
like
it's daft. Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
It's a little too strong, if you ask me.
I was complaining about it to Cap and Purge, and they were just like, it's fine. It's balanced. Just gotta pick Terrorblade.
It's a good Purge impression.
Actually fine.
I mean, back in the day, it was 4,200 gold for essentially the same thing, right? The old Ags.
It's just daft. It's crazy. If they put it on the Ags, would people still get it?
Really powerful.
Dire
I
team
think so.
Clockwork.
All right.
Get on that
Clockwork. Extremely good against Bane because of long cast animation time.
Also, you know, when he's gripping, they don't really have any other way. I was a bit worried. I don't think of Viper as a hero that's going to run down Koppel because he's quite slow. So Koppel can just speed away. This Clockwork gives him a way to get on top of him, cancel the grip, le grip of Bane. Do you think Bane's French?
Definitely not.
Well, he's got that cheese.
Yeah.
And that special cheesy French music.
It is French music, but...
It is French music, but the cheese is actually Gouda cheese. It's the yellow cheese, Gouda. Gouda.
Isn't it Gouda?
Gouda.
Where's that from?
The Netherlands.
Oh.
But there's indeed French music, so it doesn't add up. Someone didn't do their homework.
I'm sure the lore is very deep.
Yeah.
To the point that none of us truly understand.
Get Jake
And
on the
also,
blower.
I mean, he's a nightmare guy, right? He holds people in his grip.
I think it's the thing that cheese gives you nightmares. Is the
For some people, that is very true.
Right.
Causes lactose intolerance towards the enemies.
But then why the French music? Why not some nightmare music? That's all I'm saying. That's where it's lost.
That is odd.
And there's the Terrorblade that you were talking about.
Get on top of them, cancel.
All right, well, that's a lot of armor. Of course, they do have a lot of magic damage on OG, so I don't think they care that much. Like mid-game, this Terrorblade can definitely get blown up.
Yeah, I want to also point out that we have not seen Crystallis play Terrorblade like the entire time, even though Entity is probably the team with the most games played in the entire tour because most of their series went all 3 games. So yeah, surprising to see him not having played that. That being said, he is the #1 player in Europe at the moment on the leaderboards. I would imagine he knows how to play a Terrorblade.
I would hope so.
Point. Let's give him the credit for that.
I'll give him the credit.
It's a pretty brain-dead hero. Let's be honest.
Did you say that to him? Dude, he's such a brain-dead hero.
He would probably agree.
Yeah, pro players are typically on the same page with the whole brain deadness of certain heroes. All right, so what are we looking for? From Entity, depends on if Sand King is mid or not. It could be a mid, could be offlane. We've seen both. So they have slight flexibility there. Or it could be Caudle mid even as well, technically. But I highly doubt you pick a support as your last pick. So just assume
you never know.
Caudle.
You never know.
Yeah, it depends on the matchups.
What do they call it? A flex pick, right?
Right. Love flex picks.
Love it. So if there's some Pos 5 that's going to dumpster them, you can push the Caudle to mid.
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate flex pick right now is Terrorblade as support. By an Armlet, Dagon, Lothars.
That's the class.
That's a lot of farm for a support, but
that's the old
day and age. Yeah, would not recommend.
Yeah, the ultimate flex pick is of course the Sand King that can go mid or offlane for them. So that's why we see OG banning out offlane heroes. The last couple of times we saw Sand King played was mostly Stormer in the wins anyway. Let's focus on those. So we'll see if Toby gets an overall last pick. We have seen in the series that they won, for example, against Enigma Galaxy, Entity won mostly off the back of Toby getting the overall last pick. He won once with an Agent Operation core, an Enigma core. Worked out great both times around, and it does seem like OG is trying to focus Toby's hero pool a little bit there. And Invoker's last
OG also has flexibility because Pugna could technically be mid. Stormer plays it. And obviously Tiny. I mean, Viper, I would guess, is an offlane unless it's a really good matchup for mid. They can always flex that slightly.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's
That is a green screen.
These are some gamer glasses here.
Yeah, they are. Did you know you could get a filter on your monitor so that you'd have it on your screen rather than...
You should tell them
look
that.
cool.
You should tell
I mean,
them
it looks cool.
Yeah.
Not everybody would look cool in those glasses, though. Taika could
Mine are slightly like that, actually. When I take them off, it's like, oh.
Yeah, but his ones are a little curved. Yours ones are like straight.
Yeah. What can I say? All right, so this, I'm gonna guess that this is a mid.
And there's Ember Spirit.
Okay.
Do we feel like they have enough lockdown to deal with an Ember?
Well, they got the grip. That's something. But they've got good ways to cancel it, so that is an issue. Also, with the shield, Cockle and Sand King's damage is going to be somewhat reduced, so I think it's a pretty good pick. I'd be scared the hell of Ember in this game if I was Entity.
My question is, how good is Sand King mid against Ember, and if they want to put Sand King offlane instead?
That is true.
That is the question.
I mean, you do burn through his shield, right? Because the Sandstorm is annoying as hell, but yeah, it's not like, it's not great.
When I take them off, it's like, Is Invoker still in the pool?
Nope, just banned out.
Okay. What can I say?
What lanes well against an Ember Spirit if they do want to relegate that Sand King to the offlane?
Is Lena still in the pool?
Yeah.
She is.
I love Yule's buyers against Ember. You dispel the Flame Guard, and it can actually burst them down, sets up a lot of your potential stun action.
Yeah, we'll give them some more lockdown, which is always nice.
And just damage.
Regular damage, Queen of Pain.
Okay.
That will be the hero. It will be a hero for mid, so they will put that Sand King on the
I'm looking
offlane.
forward to this game.
Oh, yes, he is.
Yeah.
Rubbing his hands at the thought.
I would say Bane is Fishman's signature hero. So he's very happy to get his hands on that one.
Damn, that is some TB set.
That is, yeah, that's with those gems that you can't make anymore, I think, where you could choose the color.
That's very cool.
Old school.
And that is my favorite Clockwork set. Yeah, the Tiny Dino one.
The Raptor.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I agree. The fact that his animations makes it even better. I am feeling OG.
You
personally. I think they're the better team, which is not, you know, anything crazy to say. But I think they have the answers for Terrorblade, honestly. I'm not a huge believer in Queen of Pain.
No.
I might be a bit of a hater.
I mean, I think this Ember could get really big. They do have Tiny. And I think Pugna and Viper is pretty gross to play against as well. So yeah, OG for the exact same reasons that Suns fans make.
I mean, on paper, OG has been in an absolute tear. Like any opponent, they've just crushed it. Ever since they lost their one series that they lost in a very close third game against Team Secret, they've just crushed every opponent. Will they do the same thing to Entity? We're gonna find out together with Cap and Jenkins.
The Tiny Dino one. The Raptor.
That's right. The first time these two teams are going to face up against each other. First time, at least in an official match anyway. And it's a chance for OG to be able to claim the top spot in Western Europe because the current rule set says there is no tiebreaker if it is not between major qualifying / relegation. I see. So. Since we're going into a major that has all group stage, it used to be, okay, there would be a tiebreaker because, of course, first and second means you go to playoffs or you go to group stage. But since it's all group stage now, the current rule set says that, well, there's no longer that. It's just groups. So since you're all going to groups anyway, there's no tiebreaker there. So, which means OG could net themselves an extra 160 DPC points by being able to win this match right here because they have the head-to-head against Gaming Gladiators.
Yeah, and that mattered a lot last year, so I think people have a lot of respect for the points that they can get from the leagues. You know, especially after like regional finals happen there. That's our tour.
The one RTZ clan member.
Relegation. I see. So there's a lot of fake RTZ clans out there, you know.
There is, yeah. There's a South American one. There's a Russian one.
Oh yeah.
A lot of fans. A lot of our tour fans all around the world.
So this is an interesting draft from Entity. They picked Terrorblade into Tiny. It's the #1 hero in terms of there's three people here.
A lot of people here, and they don't sleep. They don't Shadow Strike. They don't really want the kill.
No, they're playing for lanes, which is fair. I see players more often than not these days. Like only unless you can get a first blood for your mid and it's like guaranteed, you don't want to like skill things up that you're not going to want for lane because it just ruins the lanes. It's not worth like the 200 or so gold that you get. But
right. Let's continue on the Terrorblade because you were saying during the draft you were telling me privately that it was an absolute dog shit Terrorblade game. There's no way you could possibly win.
So it's the yes. All right, those are my exact words. 100%. It's the highest winner here versus Tiny in the game, so I understand that part. But the other day we saw this Terrorblade versus Viper matchup, and Viper absolutely dumpsters this. It's really difficult. Like you have to really play the TV well. And I was thinking maybe they would even put Coddle in that lane just to secure the lane, even though they have the Coddle Sand King down here, which obviously is a very effective lane.
Yeah.
The double barrel strike and everything, double nuke. But yeah, because Clockwork deals well with the Bane, and Viper deals very well with the Terrorblade. I expect that lane to be very difficult. I think Terrorblade's gonna have to go jungle pretty early, but we'll see.
I feel like that's not the only answer to Terrorblade here, right? It's I feel like Pugna as support actually deals pretty well. I mean, he cleans out the illusions, right? Whenever he tries to throw him down lane, you've got a support that can instant kill him. That's nice. The Crapify is a very useful tool defensively.
Yeah, you're totally right. Like the thing with TV is like a big reason that this hero is considered very strong is the fact that you can push out lanes, but you do it with like single illusions, not multiple. You're not like Naga Siren. So clearing just one illusion on Pugna is actually pretty damn impactful. But so basically what Entity is doing here is they're saying that we think that this is good enough versus Tiny, which they're right about that. Like it's literally the #1 winner hero versus Tiny, because Tiny cannot burst TV and you just turn and you sunder him. It's what we saw at TI. It's you know what Team Spirit did to deal with the Tiny. So it's very strong. It's very strong. And they're saying, okay, even with these counters, we still think that it's strong enough that it's worth picking it in the game. You can already see that Viper's doing very well in lane versus Terrorblade.
So it sounds to me basically that if Entity can get out of the laning phase, let's say the first 20 minutes of the game, and be looking pretty even on net worth, you're feeling good about this Terrorblade being able to carry the
lane. Oh yeah, for sure. Because, you know, at that point, you don't care about the Viper. It's, you know, badge damage, you're going to have BKB, you're going to have Scotty. Same with Pugna. Exact same answers to Viper will answer the Pugna, other than the illusion killing, which is a bit of an issue.
Boy, Misha is just being quite obnoxious here, and Yuragi even joining him and kicking Toby out of lane to keep her the lights like, all right, sorry Toby, I'm gonna have to take some CS here. And he'll try and stall up the creep wave, connect them together. Kotomi doing a good job of kind of ensuring Toby gets not totally screwed by Misha's play there.
Honestly, more often than not, this is what you see with Sand King lanes these days. Like, players have gotten really good at just understanding that he's extremely weak in the first few levels, and it's not the type of hero that you want to just, you know, let him get to level 4, let him get to level 5. Like, I know a lot of people would consider Sand King to be like arguably the most overpowered hero of the patch. People in pubs will like flame you and pause on you. It's like high level pubs, like people are really grumbling about Sand King. It's like, oh, it's just such an easy hero, yada yada. But the way that you punish it is in the lanes. I've never seen people die behind a tier 1 like that, but I can understand why they have this mentality of pressuring, because that's kind of what everybody's thinking towards the Sand King. Like, weak early, absolutely god tier later, you have to pressure when he's actually weak.
It goes to show how strong he is, because I feel like doing well in lanes is a very important part of the meta right now.
It is.
And to be actively first picking a hero
that you know will do pretty bad,
get absolutely destroyed in lanes more often than not, says a lot about his viability.
It's strange, yeah. It's weird. Like, most of the time Sand King loses lanes. Like, once he's got the levels, he's okay, but by that time, you should be losing to the degree where like the carry has more items than you can and can deal with you. But a lot of the time Sand King goes 0-2 in lane, gets a Blink Dagger, and laning phase is just forgotten. Like nobody gives a shit. You just do so much damage, and you've the greatest initiation currently in the game. So it's like it just doesn't matter. You need so little to do a lot on that hero.
And his recovery mechanism is really good, right?
Yeah,
Focus to support stacks for you. Fishman is going to die here. It looks like as maybe he can actually brain stab and keep himself alive. No, he's just slowed too much. Even a stick being used there, but it's not enough. Amar picks up the first blood. This lane is indeed going very well for OG.
So one thing that I'm thinking about now with the Entity draft, with picking the Terror Blade into Viper and into this difficult lane, is that they do have a Sand King, who we already talked about. His laning is pretty weak, and he wants to ideally like take the safe lane at some point. So you have a safe lane that's basically, you know, designed to lose, and then a hero that likes to take the safe lane. That's kind of a perfect storm there. So Sand King at you know, in the next few minutes, especially when the catapults come out, I think we could see SK TPing towards top and holding that lane, and TB just goes and jungles up, and then all of these counters just don't matter.
Which would explain maybe why they wanted to keep the Coddle down there, because they need Sand King to get some good levels. That way he can take this lane away from Chrysalis, who is obviously struggling here. He is going to die again. And Fishman, I think, just kind of joined in the party to possibly die as well. I don't see any escape for him unless he can somehow block him out in trees. Taiga's actually getting a little low. Fishman wants at least that, but no. He gets pushed back into his doom. Amar with a double kill is now 3-0. You know, we've seen this guy shut down, and he still comes back and has a great game. I'm very scared of what it looks like when he wins his lane super hard.
Yeah, and they do this dive on at the 5-minute mark. So the catapult's just about to spawn. The catapults are hitting the side lanes, as we can see here, and they just killed 2 people. So it's going to be even harder for anybody to go up towards that top lane. And given the fact that Sand King's having a tough time down here, he's only got 2 levels in Sandstorm. So it's not exactly easy for him to hold the top lane right now, just because you don't have the permanent Sandstorm. You don't have the 100% uptime on it. It doesn't do that much damage. So
yeah,
there's not as much threat with that level 2 Sandstorm. Like, you can just walk into it and kill him, and you don't take that much damage from it. Level 5, that's when you get to the point where Sand King can actually kill you.
And Terrorblade is also not at a point that he's going to jungle super efficiently just yet. As Misha trying to juke out, goes back into the trees and TP's away. TP actually back to base, so maybe there's some time here. Amar's actually going to die. Good rotation there from Stormstormer, set up by Fishman with the sleep. So they relieve a little bit of pressure there in the top lane, while the TB just focuses on jungling. No longer has a lane to work.
Yeah, they needed that. They needed, like, both the side lanes are kind of tough right now, and both the TB and the Sand King want to farm, so it 100% falls on your mid laner at that point to start rotating and, you know, use those levels that they got from the mid lane in the farm. So that was a solid rotation.
EZM has been joined by Taiga, and they're trying to pressure the mid lane. Oh, the Queen of Pain was away, so they get a little bit of chip damage there, nothing major. Goes back into the trees with TP's away.
Forcing the blink. It doesn't do anything more than that, though. EZM too. Arcane Rune pulls the whole creep wave to the easy camp, so like he's just 100% farm focused right now, which is what you see with Ember Spirits more often than not these days. Ever since the change where Sleight of Fist does 100% damage to creeps, it's so easy to just sit in a lane, and anybody that comes in, you just slowly chip away at them with Sleight of Fist and clear the whole creep wave as well at the same time. So it's like you cannot sit in lane and farm against Ember. And so a lot of Embers these days are just not really rotating, which is a little weird because this is one of the better rotating heroes in the game, especially if you get a rune. But it just makes so much sense to sit in the lane and chip.
Oh, Fishman. Kind of lucky to be alive there. Does rotate back out. Basically, Amar and Taiga, they want to make sure that nobody is actually sitting behind the trees there and soaking experience. Fishman does need some help here, and Chrysalis was in the neighborhood, and will probably be enough to allow Fishman to be able to disengage. Stormstormer actually going for this. It looks like they've got an easy kill on Taiga, so.
Dire's turret has been killed.
Yeah, I mean, it's pressure. It's pressure. Like, OG, they're farming on all of their cores right now. They're so happy with this. It's just a support dying for that, forcing those rotations. The Kuragi is untouched bottom lane. My boy has no kills or anything. He's still top net worth.
Yeah, OG just being very farm efficient after winning lanes. I feel like this has just been a bit of a formula for them is dumpstering lanes really hard, and then what they know really well how to use that lead that they're able to get from it. So we're going to see how Entity is able to respond, and it feels like they are doing a good job of keeping it like the net worth hasn't spiraled out of control or anything. His top tower is still alive.
They're weathering the storm for sure. Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job. They're not losing a lot. I mean, Fishman just trying to get solo XP up here, soaking a bit. He's gonna get punished for it.
But still, I mean, even if he dies here, right? Like, in a way, he's kind of been doing his job.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. He's a 5. Who cares? Like, this doesn't matter. Ideally, like, you know, in an ideal world, he has like a tango and he goes through some tree there and survives like epically. But
sure,
yeah, as a 5, that's what you want to do. He's getting a 6. Once he gets a 6, he can start making rotations, and Entity can actually, you know, potentially get a lead in this game rather than just kind of passively farming. They can actually do something aggressive.
Yeah, and they kind of need that Fiend script to be able to do something about this Ember Spirit currently, which until there's like a Blink Dagger on the Sand King, it feels like BZM can kind of run around, do whatever he wants.
Yep, he's pretty free. It's entirely on Fishman. Quite aggressive. Quite aggressive.
Yeah, dive past the tower, no problem.
He's got a salve, so he's just trying to, you know, efficiency.
Oh, Taiga! He is going to blink to the other side, but this also means that Stormstormer is a little bit exposed here, as he doesn't have his blink back up, and BCM really wants to go for the punish here, but the blink is coming up in a second. We'll be able to go some distance, and TP out stays alive. Just barely. And DD was almost the death of him.
That's a nice little play from BZM. I mean, it doesn't end up netting anything, but they kind of baited that there. I think if he doesn't have the DD, that looks a lot worse. This nets them the tower, so they don't get the kill, but because of Stormstormer having to TP back, it's just a free tower with the catapult. And you see this a lot these days. The tiny carry rotating towards mid at like the 10-minute mark. It's not just like a passive farming hero. He's got so much HP that like good luck killing him at this point. 1800 HP hero that does a bunch of damage to towers. It's just the perfect hero to rotate mid.
Yeah, I think there's actually kind of a tie between Terrorblade and Tiny in that regard, is that they both kind of do that rotation, right? Yep. Terrorblades will do it if they're ahead. This TV probably needs to spend a little bit more time juggling before they make a move like that.
Yeah, usually with Terrorblades, like, you get a Dragon Lance. Like, if you get an early Dragon Lance, you make a move like that. Fishman's trying.
Yeah, they do have Taiga in the neighborhood. They're going to go for the grip. Can anybody block the hook? They need to be able to hit this, but Taiga is surrounded by heroes. That means BZM has no savior. And Taiga, in fact, may need to use that hook shot to be able to get himself out of danger as he gets some distance. But Stormstormer on his tail doesn't have the Shadow Strike to slow him down, but he does have the Coddle, lowering down some of those cooldowns. Even still, it wouldn't be enough nuking power.
I gotta say, that was a little cocky positioning there from BZM. Like,
yeah.
he sees the Bane. He sees Fishman sitting right there. He knows he didn't use grip on the mid lane or anything like that. He knows they're all there, and still, like, he was just confident in Taiga being able to stop the grip.
Yeah, Taiga might have been making the call, you know, like, don't worry, I'll save you, but Entity, they will not be able to get Stormstormer out of there. Almost completed Blink, not quite good enough. They trade out with Taiga, but this is looking pretty bad for Entity. They've got to get out of here. And away through the river they go until the Ember Spirit actually catches up, diving in, separating targets here, but it looks like Toby's going to get burned down less. No, the Sleight of Fist cleans them up even after the Burrow Strike, and the other two pick up the Bane kill. So OG may have lost BZM, but they strike right back.
And this whole time Amar is just chilling on the top lane. I like his build. Have you seen this before, the Null Talisman on Viper? I feel like there's a lot more heroes that could get Null Talisman.
Yeah, I mean, there's such a value item right now. The casual Null,
yeah,
sounds pretty good to me.
I think there's also a lot of like int heroes that maybe want to. He's just chilling. This is the most Amar like heat map I've ever seen. But then again, you know, if you're Viper, like, this is definitely one of the heroes where the heat map should look like that. So, seems like a perfect fit for the way Amar likes to play.
Nisha will join him up here, ensuring that Amar doesn't get smoke ganked or anything.
So yeah, still top net worth, all 3 cores of OG. The question is, when do they actually want to group up? It's OG, so probably not for a while. This is what they do. But I also do feel like this is the way that patch looks in a lot of other games as well. There's a lot of like, you push one tower and you farm with that advantage for like 5 minutes, get another round of items, push another tower, farm with that advantage. Like, people are not just deathballing towers anymore. It's like, maybe you could call something like Death Prophet or DK like, oh, it's a death ball, but it only really happens when you have those item timings and after, you know, still a period of farming. Like, Sand King just sits in his lane. Same thing for Envy. He just sits in his lane until he gets a Blink Dagger. He didn't even go hold the top lane. That'd be abnormal in another patch.
So it's a little bit more formulaic, the ball. Maybe like a bowling ball?
Yeah, sure.
Take your time,
Maybe it's like a bowling ball and it keeps coming out that, you know, what was that?
Yeah, you gotta wait for it to come back.
You wait for it to come back, you throw it again, you wait for it to come back.
Yeah.
Or you could just grab somebody else's ball, it's too heavy. Well, okay, phrasing, all right. I'm just saying, if you're used to an 11-pound ball, phrasing once again on that, and you grab a 13-pounder and you throw it, you might screw up. You're not gonna hit that strike. So people just don't bother pushing these days because they'd rather wait until they know that it's something that's secure when they have an item timing.
No sense in forcing it.
No sense in forcing it. And after, you know, Mar going for a Manta style on Viper. Same thing for Envy. He just sits in his lane. That's not something that I've seen before. Not for a long time, to be frank with you here.
I mean, a Dispel helps deal with it. There are a couple of things he could Dispel here. That's not bad. He could also, in theory, use the Illusion to help deal with Nightmare targets, but...
Yeah, you could just grab somebody else's ball. It's just...
very interesting. I mean, it's very Amar. It's very, like, I'm going to carry from the off-lane style.
It is.
Oh, Taiga off the mark there. Maybe it's for the best. His team was a little far away. He's going to be going for a shard. Just away. No force staff.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. That's way more fun than a stupid force staff.
That's true.
We're going to watch the miss.
You just name and shame Taiga.
That is a little rude, but ignore that.
Spartan was saying when I did the interview with him, he was so excited about this clock. He's this clockwork hero. Gives you everything. Gives you so many stuns.
Spartan. Oh yes, I saw that.
And of course, Spartan are currently watching this series, cheering for OG, because if Entity does lose, it means that Entity and Brame will be in a tie, and only one of them will be going to relegation. So we'll have an interesting best of 3.
The old high ground smoke break. Yep. A grip used. Okay.
Really want the kills that they can get, but BCM and Misha, they're all here, and they might just have to leave Fishman to die. Yeah, Fishman even going the other direction than Katomi accepts his fate.
Yeah, I mean, BZM just knows if grip is used, like, he can go in and act like a madman there, and he's not gonna die. Toby was showing top at the same time too. So if there's no Sand King and there's no Fiend's grip, like, BZM, he can be a maniac if he wants. Now he's gonna be a little careful because he doesn't see Toby, so Toby could have TP'd in at this point. That's probably what he's thinking right now.
Actually, Toby's underneath the ward.
Oh, never mind, he's under vision. No.
Yeah. So Taiga might actually try and go for that. Tiny's closing in as well. If they manage to get the hook shot cogs backwards, that'd be quite the combination with the avalanche over the top, then the toss. Beautifully executed by Yuragi and Taiga. Well set up.
Yuragi is now on the board for kills. More often than not, this is what you see with Tiny, is they pick up the shard, pick up the Echo Saber, and that's when they can really start getting involved. Around that time too, you have like max level and almost all of your abilities, so you actually have the burst to kill heroes. You're not just going to get kited, and he does have his full Shadow Blade now too, so the map's going to look a lot scarier for Entity from this point out, because Yuragi really hasn't been doing anything up until this point. And now he wants to get involved.
Yeah, I feel like that's when the map is already kind of closing in on around you. Entity, having lost their mid tower, mid and top lane, are always pushing in, and Envy's just trying to keep bottom, you know, somewhat out. That Shadow Blade, there's a lot of room for Yuragi to get some pickoffs.
Oh, he hits the hook.
Cogs backwards into the chains. Very nice. Once again, Taiga setting up with one other core to be able to pick up some important kills.
BZM is using the Entity voice lines. That's really funny. That's
Panic.
Yeah, classic. And Taiga's like hard carrying this, man. I mean, he's doing so much work with 3 cores, like basically sitting in separate lanes. It's falling entirely on him. What's a Pugna gonna do? You know, it's falling entirely on him to actually set things up.
Yeah.
And he is. I mean, Misha's doing great. It's like you can walk into ganks 7 minutes faster than Manta stuff because nobody goes Manta on fight. That is so weird. But no, Taiga's totally carrying this game, which I suppose are words that are not, you know, unique.
Definitely not a foreign concept.
Yeah.
OG. Spirit Vessel complete for Katomi, so we've got some better ways to deal with these heroes. We know that a Pugna is going to be sitting behind a core somewhere, and they already have a bit of a problem with being able to burst somebody down, as some of these heroes, Viper, I mean, all 3 of their cores have
Tiny.
sort of
It's like
way to be very tanky. Yeah.
Vessel in general against Tiny. Dude, the same smoke break. It's so unfortunate. Like every single time Entity goes for this smoke, at this point it feels like you really have to do some crazy wraparound. OG's been on point with like just having their supports like standing there and breaking smokes. It's one of those things that when you're watching it and just nothing happens like that, it doesn't seem super impactful because literally nothing happened. But when you're in the game and you've run out of smokes because every single one you're just running into a Pugna or a Clockwork, it feels like shit. Like you can't do anything. Smokes are so important in Dota.
Yeah, it's really interesting how OG is basically, they'll let them have some of the safe lane, they'll let them have some of that bottom lane, but they won't let them get past the outpost a lot of times. There's just somebody usually hanging out there, whether it's Misha or the Clockwork, you know, Misha can't actually get maybe a full wrap into the mid lane or something, or let them hit this tier 2 too much.
Dude, you know, I was watching a class replay the other day, actually, and I noticed something like that in a lot of these games, there are lanes, like, not being pushed. So that way, the creep wave is in, like, a dangerous area where, like, if you come up, you're gonna die.
Misha gets blown up. Now, we do have a full-out Scotty on the Terror Plate, so Entity have hit it a very big timing of their own. We said, you know, if this game is somewhat even, somewhere past 20 minutes, we feel pretty confident about this Terror Blade versus Tiny, just purely that matchup. But, you know, then again, you can't really forget about the fact that OG likes to be able to have 3 different cores scaling throughout the game. So we'll see how impactful Amar is as a carry, as Yuragi threatening Stormer, just doing a good bit of damage, forcing him back. Maybe Taiga could have gotten a hook shot, maybe not. Either way, forces the Quap off the map.
Yeah, the problem here is like what you said. There are, oh, he doesn't get the toss. Yeah, he tosses the creep.
Yeah, if he tosses them, and then especially if Taiga is able to close the distance there.
Yeah.
The hook.
Yeah, that could definitely.
Hook shot. Second attempt. This time does land on Fishman, and very fast, easy kill. And OG now cementing. Okay, you can have the bottom lane because we're very focused on Roshan right now.
Yeah, I mean, usually when you lose a Bane, like we've been talking about for the OG side, if you lose a support, you don't really care that much because their death timer is so low, they just respawn and come to the fight anyway. But when you're directly in front of Roshan, that's a different story. Like 30 seconds is actually enough time to take Rosh, so that's just really unfortunate that that's where Fishman ends up going down. And I think the reason that he goes down there is because he was trying to ward Rosh because he was worried about them taking it. And, you know, in doing that, he actually loses it.
Thankfully, oh, it was still enough. I thought the Essence Ring was maybe going to keep him alive, but damn, Yuragi beats him down.
Yeah, he's just huge, dude. He's just massive. Like, he's got the 20 talents already. He's got the Silver Edge, so he's critting. His damage is just enough to kill any of these Entity heroes. Maybe not TB. Probably not TB. But
he's very rapidly turning into OG, destroying any hero that's not TB. And I don't know, like, if I have the same faith, like, sure, Terrorblade versus Tiny, but can Terrorblade 1v5? That's what it's kind of looking like it's going to turn into.
You know.
Oh, there's another one. See if he gets the right crits, the toss up, and that's going to be good enough. Man, that toss damage does so much when you get level 3 grow.
So, yeah, you've got the counter on TV, but the more and more items you give this Tiny, the more the counter just doesn't matter. I mean, an item advantage on, like, a Pudge can carry a game if he has an item advantage, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how Dota works. Like, items scale based off of each other. So a guy with 3 items is, like, way stronger than a guy with 2 items.
Especially if that item is Giant's Ring.
That's a solid item.
I was watching your stream last night. The giant pudge with the giant hook.
It makes the hook massive. Yeah, it's really funny. I want to see that with Bloodlust and BKB, see how big the hook gets.
Yeah. 14-7, 6,000 net worth lead, but it feels like a little bit more than that just because OG controls so much of the map. But soon, they're going to be knocking down tier 2s, and once they knock down tier 2s, the map starts getting very small for Entity. They're actually going to try and go for this one. The late Cogs push back on Stormstormer. They're chasing after him a little bit. Yuragi actually came from behind, catches Katomi. Stormstormer's fine, but they still netted a kill. They're still going to get the second tier 2 back-to-back, so now it goes from 6K to 8K in rapid succession.
Yeah, and this is the point where you really hate the fact that there's a Tiny on the enemy team, because he can take tier 3s in a matter of like seconds, less than a second, depending on the items that he has. He's going for a BKB, so he's going for like a safer approach than to go for like AC or something like that.
Man, every time Stormstormer,
if he crit
40 health.
If he crit once there, Stormstormer's dead.
Their pocket player could have got him. He does manage to blink away to safety, and he'll be fine. But there's still 2 minutes left on this Aegis. They do have a BKB now on Terrorblade, so we'll see what that does when the time comes for a big team fight. It seems like Entity are very all in on just like, it's okay guys, we're gonna just keep conceding ground bit by bit and give Chrysalis more and more time to farm.
Yeah, no crit in those 2 hits there, which, you know, it happens. Yeah, Tiny going for BKB, full BKB completed now, so now the Sunder's not going to come through. That's a big reason why Terrorblade is considered to be the hard counter to Tiny, is because you know, Sunder him and he's got this massive HP pool, so you do a ton of damage to him that way, but that's not going to be coming through here. I like that Crystallis is building into a Daedalus. Like you said, they're all-inning on the Terrorblade, and this is how you can tell that they're all-inning on the Terrorblade. They're going to rely on other heroes to protect him, rather than him protecting himself. They definitely need the damage at this point, and they need to hope that they can keep him alive during a fight where he's just hitting all 5 of OG's heroes.
So everybody else is pretty much going to be a meat shield.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I'm surprised nobody's building like a Lotus. I guess it's just not that great of a Lotus game. But for Entity, at this point, you're looking for items like Force Staff and Glimmer Cape and Lotus, like that.
Is it still, or we just, these items not good anywhere? The Vlad, Solar Crest, like, why can't we go that route?
I thought they were the ones baiting him, but it looks like they're baiting themselves. You talk about the... Okay, never mind. Still OG, they're just...
Cogs push back, and they do have just enough damage with the poison to get the kill.
Yeah, they're like not giving Entity any time to breathe whatsoever. Even with like 30 seconds left on the Aegis, they're still being so aggressive with it.
Entity.
What was your question again? You said something about Vlad's, etc.
Vlad, Solar Crest. We're talking about like how this is basically going to be a 1v5, and the other 4 heroes are just supporting cast to the Terrorblade. Isn't like Solar Crest and Vlad's, aren't those like the traditional best items? Chrysalis, do they have the damage for this one? They aren't going to be able to get a full Fiend's Grip. Pops the BKB to stay on top of Yuragi. Yuragi goes into the trees. He needs the vision. The illusion spot him, and it's just... Okay, good. They do manage to get that kill. Chrysalis is now turning back in. He needs all the help he can get. He's just nobody from town. Amar had a BKB, so he couldn't get off the Sunder, and Toby, well, he tries in vain to help out the Tiny, but just throws his death on the pyre. Another body added into it. It's Katomi. He dies behind the tier 1 tower. And Entity, well, they pretty much, they get themselves the kill they were hoping for in the Tiny, but you could see the rest of OG are equally a big factor.
Yeah, you can see how the counter, you can see exactly how the counter plays out right there. Like, Tiny just gets kited by the Terrorblade with the Scotty. Terrorblade is able to do enough persistent damage versus Tiny. Actually, if you look at the win rate of heroes versus Tiny, it's all heroes that can take these like long engagements and do a ton of damage over a long time, because Tiny likes to fight like that. So Venomancer, Batrider, those sorts of heroes. So you can see the counter there, and he's just barely in that sentry range. Very lucky. But the other heroes are a problem at this point, just due to the laning phase and how OG has snowballed the game so far. It's like you don't even need the Tiny at this point. Like really, he's to deal with the other heroes, and the Terrorblade can be currently dealt with by Amar and BZM. Who has a DD, by the way, on BZM. So he's looking to get active.
Yeah, and he is going to jump after Stormstormer here. Didn't quite guess where that blink went correctly, but either way, chased him out the map. Push this lane in with the Lincolns. So they've got a Lincolns on Ember. They've got a BKB on the Viper, a BKB on the Tiny. If they do go for this Terrorblade, he's not going to have great Sunder options.
No. If he...
Does manage to catch Kotomi. Yuragi quickly follows that one up now. They are going to go for the kill on the Taiga. Now BZM's right in the middle of everything. They do have a Fiend's Grip onto the Tiny right now, but no Terrorblade to follow it up. You can see Chrysalis, he is on full retreat right now.
He has no meta. He doesn't want to fight.
No.
Like,
15 seconds. Oof.
This is the point where like a carry player flames their team. That's where like, depending on who you're playing, if you're playing with BSJ or somebody, they're just screaming at you because you fought 15 seconds before meta is up.
Yeah.
I get the idea of like camping a high ground. That's a good way to take a fight where you're at this disadvantage gold-wise, and so you take an advantage somewhere else where you have the high ground advantage, the vision advantage, maybe you can win the fight. But without the TB meta, even with a great grip onto Yuragi, like, he's not going to go down. There's not enough damage to kill Tiny right now, other than with Terrorblade hitting the entire time. By the way, I really like what OG's doing, just like with their choice to not sit and hold an area on the map. I know a lot of teams like to do that. But what they're doing is they recognize that they have these really fast-paced heroes that can, like Ember with his jump, Clockwork with the hook. They have Tiny who's running across with Silver Edge. Like really, Amar is the only one that can't get across the map quickly, and even he has a Manta style, so he is actually kind of fast at this point. So for a fight, relatively speaking.
Sure.
So OG is basically like, okay, we're not going to hold an area. We're going to let them come out and then just run across the map and kill them, because our heroes have the mobility to actually do that, and we have the ways of catching them out, which I think makes a lot of sense with the Tiny in general, because you want to catch people out with the Silver Edge, but all the other heroes in OG, they want to do that as well, so it fits perfectly here.
Yeah, they're just constantly sweeping top to bottom, bottom to top. Catching Entity as they try and push out lanes. Now, we're expecting Entity at some point in time to be able to set up on some sort of high ground, and maybe OG walks into them. You can kind of see with their smoke. They're setting up on some high ground areas right now.
Yeah.
OG's nowhere near in town.
Yeah, that's like what they're hoping for too, and that's what that last fight was for them. Was it's a mismatch of timings, unfortunately for them.
Yeah.
But you can see what they're going for. There's this map sweeping happening, and the way of punishing that is that OG gets cocky and they run up a high ground with the Tiny when people are not quite behind him just yet. And we almost saw that happen on the bottom lane too, not on a high ground, but the Tiny walked into a sentry, and all of a sudden he's just solo killing 1v3. So it's unfortunate that happens, but you can see what Entity is going for in this game.
Pocket Flare, spot Stormstormer. And Doji, who are currently smoked up, are going to head that direction. The Ember Spirit's going to be in first. He's got a fresh BKB, so he's able to do something like this and just demolish the support at the very start of the team fight. They managed to get Yuragi on top of Stormstormer, so there's another pickoff. Toby, he's kind of stuck, and Chrysalis is now going to have to do almost a true 1 versus 5, but he can't even beat Amar. It looks like who's getting sucked on right now by Misha. Goes for the Thunder Blade, but Misha was already missing HP. He was like, okay, bro, go for it. I'm at a 30.
Yeah.
What do you want to do here? Chrysalis getting the tips, and Entity stalled out this game all for that team fight right there. You can see why OG feels pretty good.
That was just an unfortunate situation for Chrysalis, man. He's sitting against like a Manta Viper
who just picked up AC.
Yeah, he's got the AC, so one of the only times that I think I've ever seen a Terrorblade lose a man fight to a Viper. And the only target to steal from in terms of HP is a guy that's been sucking Amar, and so he's super low HP. It's just weird. It's just a, you know, an awkward thing to walk into.
Well, can't say it was a back and forth game of any kind. That was OG domination from I mean, it really felt like it broke through in like somewhere around 20 minutes. I mean, they won their lanes, but Entity was kind of keeping it close, but Entity just seemed to have this idea that this terrible.
You can see why OG feels pretty good.
That was just an unfortunate situation for Crystal's, man. He's sitting against like a Manta Viper.
Who just picked up AC.
Yeah, he's got the AC, so one of the only times that I think I've ever seen a Terrorblade lose a man fight to a Viper. And the only target to steal from in terms of HP is a guy that's been sucking Amar, and so he's super low HP. It's just weird. It's just a, you know, an awkward thing to walk into.
Well,
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Had you but eyes to see.
That should help.
Shadow, take it.
Where's the party? Need a light. Right again. Invisibility.
Radiant are scanning.
Hard landing. To judgment.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Allies
Dire are scanning.
I'll take that.
Fortune's change.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
I almost feel bad.
You had your warning.
I'll never bow.
You are dead. Radiant are scanning. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Vanish.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I solved it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
shadows take us.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire are scanning. The mysteries remain.
I'll take that.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
An easy shot.
Radiant are scanning.
Shadows take us.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Plundered.
Your song has fallen to the radiant. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Fortunes change.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
I blew it. Hey, ask permission the next time you want to feed my back.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Shadows take us.
Dire's bottom barracks has fallen. Dire's bottom barracks has fallen. Dire are scanning.
A soldier's fortune.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I've been wanting this. I'm over here.
Radiant are scanning. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle barracks is under attack. Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
I'll not sheed word till it's been.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Stupendous!
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Invisibility!
Dire's middle barracks are under attack. Dire's middle barracks has fallen. Radiant are scanning. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's Ancient is under attack. Radiant victory.